This conference will now be recorded.
Time is now 6:30 PM. Going to call to order the Tilton Planning Board meeting for Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. And the first order of business this evening is to nominate officers for the planning board. So I'll open the floor to nominations for chair.
I'd like to nominate Jane Halden for chair of the planning board.
I'll second that.
Any other nominations?
I move the nomination cease.
All right, we have one nomination for chair, Jane Alden. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The next is for vice chair.
I nominate Tom.
I'll
Thank
second.
you.
No, you don't want to?
Well, thank you.
I'll nominate Christine.
And I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Christine.
Yeah, you didn't even give me
I'm
a
gonna
chance to
get
deny it.
Well, I
Did you
already
see
have
that? Did you
recognized.
see that?
And the next is the clerk, Leanne.
Nominate Leanne Moynihan.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So be it. So the first, next order of business is the public hearing, which is a site plan review and conditional use permit for a medical dialysis center at Business Park Drive. And we have in front of us an application. So if you will take a look at that. And see,
You want me to make a motion to bring it to the table?
I'll make a motion to bring it to the table.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Just have nice stuff. That's it.
Anybody have any questions?
Well, this see attached narrative. It's not this driveway thing, is it?
There was a
See
narrative.
attached
Did you
narrative.
not get it when I copied all the pages?
Not here.
I'm like, do you have it, Tom?
Do this. Right?
No, there should be a narrative.
Let's keep going. Don't you have? I have it. So.
This one? Oh, that's traffic.
This is your narrative, the project description. If you don't have it.
Okay.
you-
I have it. It wasn't your packet.
No,
I apologize, Christine.
that's okay. Oh, no, there it is. There we go.
You got it.
And I'll go through everything that's in your packets,
Yeah,
just
anyway.
to give you an update.
Okay.
And they've already been to zoning and have been to conservation, so. And they've met with sewer a couple times, so they've met with all the other boards.
And they went to the zoning board and they were granted the variance.
What was the variance for?
A drainage outlet in the front setback area, which I'll explain in a little bit more detail later, and the use is permitted by special exception. So we had received one special exception and one variance.
And we had to do the conditional use in the site.
Okay.
I've come a long way after being discovered your last name, Christine.
I'll make a motion to accept the application as substantially complete.
I'll second that. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. If you want to take a few minutes to read through the notes for the Conservation Commission, and I think Chris will address those in more detail because that's all been done, and those are things that we got tonight from Leanne. The meeting was back in January. You'll also find the letter from the Sewer Commission and a letter from DOT. Those issues have been resolved. So take a few minutes to read those if you have any questions. If not. Excuse me.
So Steve Keach, who's the engineer, sent the notes today. So again, I apologize for coming today, but he did say that the plan was very clean and there were really minor notes and
Couple of
corrections.
detail edits.
Yeah. And he copied the engineer, Chris, so he's aware of his comments as well. So.
And we also have a copy of those. Anything else before I turn it over to Chris? Okay, Chris.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Good evening. Appreciate the opportunity to present tonight. Congratulations on your positions. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, COP Tilton LLC, which has a purchase and sale agreement to buy this property. The applicant apologizes for not being able to be here personally. They had to travel for work and they're currently up in the air somewhere. With me tonight, though, is Serena Rashid over here to my left. She is the Director of Operations for the New Hampshire, Vermont area of Fresenius Kidney Care, which is the proposed tenant for this building. Also with me is Jason Cook from my office. He's one of our new engineers. He assisted with some of the site plans and just wanted to get some experience at a planning board hearing. So we are here for two items this evening. One is a site plan review application and the other is a conditional use permit application for the proposed medical dialysis center, which is to be located on Business Park Drive. So I have this aerial plan here, which just shows an aerial of the general area. This is the 93 off ramp, the Tilton Diner and the Shell Station. And then this is Sanborn Road, Route 132. That's the J. Jill, or the old J. Jill building. And then this is Business Park Drive right here. So the property that we're talking about is the one right at the corner of Business Park Drive and Route 132. At the time of this application, when we first submitted the plans, the site didn't technically have an address yet, so we just used 95 Business Park Drive because that was the owner's address. But since then, it's been assigned to Business Park Drive. So the final plans will mention 2 Business Park Drive. The property is tax map R-20, lot 1-15. It's approximately 3.3 acres in size, and it's currently vacant. It is located in the industrial zoning district as well as the groundwater protection district, and it is currently owned by Nickerson Business Park LLC. There are some site constraints on the property, which I'll point out on this plan that you could probably see it best, but this red line on the outer perimeter is the property line. This yellow line to the left represents 135 foot PSNH easement. This red line that goes around the property represents the wetland buffers. There are some wetlands up here in this corner and this corner. And this yellow line here represents a sewer easement that was in place to the town as part of when Business Park Drive was constructed. So you can see we kind of have a buildable footprint area kind of within this area. Relative to abutters, there's no immediate abutters to us that are developed. The closest developed properties are the J. Jill building and then a few other businesses further down Business Park Drive, which is Spinnaker, Eversource, and Sea Light. And in general, the property slopes from the north to the south in this direction here. So what's being proposed at this location is a 1-story, approximately 7,800 square foot medical dialysis clinic with associated access, parking, and site improvements. Fresenius Kidney Care is the intended tenant. They are, I'm just going to read from this to make sure I get all the facts right, I apologize, but they are a leading provider of kidney dialysis in the United States. They provide ongoing dialysis treatment for more than 183,000 patients in over 2,400 facilities in the country. In New England, they operate 56 dialysis centers and provide contracted dialysis for 59 hospitals. This site, to be known as the Lakes Region Dialysis Center, is being designed to accommodate 12 patients at any one time. So they have 12 stations or chairs, and they have 12 clinic or clinicians on site to service them. Every once in a while, there's a 13th employee on site that's an on-staff physician. And they have a 13th room, which I believe is just called a separation room, which is only used in case one of the dialysis patients has a medical condition that requires them to be separated from the other people while they're receiving dialysis treatment. Dialysis patients require treatment 3 times a week for approximately 4 hours. And this facility is intended to open for treatment at 6 a.m. Their first staff members show up at 5 to turn on all the equipment, get the business open. Their last shift ends at 8 p.m. and then the employees shut everything down and they're out of there by 9 p.m. So they operate Monday through Saturday during those hours. They're not open to the public on Sundays, but they may have 1 or 2 people inside the building doing administrative work. The dialysis supplies are delivered weekly, approximately 1 truck per week. And UPS and FedEx FedEx make daily stops. And the white areas on this plan represent just concrete areas on the site. So this is the drop-off area for patients or an ambulance. This is the transformer pad. There's an on-site generator in case there's ever a power outage because all their equipment needs to stay running. And then this is the concrete dumpster pad in the back, which also has a dumpster enclosure. And it's kind of tucked behind the building. Access to the property is provided by a new curb cut pretty far up here on Business Park Drive. The proposed building itself is 64 feet wide, approximately by 120 feet long. And as I mentioned, does include a drop-off area for patients. Per the regulations, 29 parking spaces are required. We have provided 30 on site, which includes 3 accessible spaces. Granite curbing is proposed everywhere around the perimeter of the site, except where we have concrete sidewalk areas. That's proposed to be integral concrete curb with the concrete sidewalk. We've coordinated the site circulation with the fire department. The building will be fully sprinklered, and they were all set with this plan. Relative to utilities, the building is to be serviced by municipal sewer. We have been before the sewer commission and been approved by the sewer commission. They have sent our plans and applications off to Franklin Wastewater Treatment Plant as well as NHDS, and we'll address any comments that we get from them and add the permit numbers once received to the plan set. We've also submitted materials to the Tilton Northfield Water Company. Those are currently under review, and we'll have to go before the Board of Water Commissioners, but we intend to do that as soon as possible. And we've also coordinated with Liberty Utilities for gas service and Eversource for electrical service. There's an existing pole approximately in this location, and our service will be underground from there to the building. Regarding stormwater, everything, as I mentioned, existing pretty much slopes from this area down to this area. It's either captured in a roadside swale along Route 132 or along Business Park Drive, and ultimately outlets via an existing culvert that's under Business Park Drive. Our proposed drainage system includes a closed drainage system, so we have catch basins and piping throughout the site that captures the runoff, directs it to one of 2 underground detention systems that provides pre-treatment, and then we have a filtration system underneath that provides treatment before it's collected in an under drain pipe and then discharged to its original location out here at the corner of the street. The stormwater analysis that we provided to the town, the Conservation Commission, NHDOT, and the town's review engineer basically shows that we've reduced or matched the peak rate of runoff for every storm event, the 2, 10, 25, 50, and the 100. The 100 isn't required by town regulations, but the conservation asked us to look at it, so we did perform that analysis and include it in our report, and Conservation Commission and DOT have signed off on that as well. We included a lighting plan as part of the application that just showed the site lighting. There's a couple pole-mounted lights around the outer perimeter of the parking lot. They're 15-foot poles, and there's a couple building-mounted lights. We also provided a proposed landscape plan as part of the project that shows 7 trees being planted as well as 76 shrub plantings throughout the property. And we also included a traffic memorandum as part of the application prepared by a traffic engineer. It showed that the impacts associated with this development are very negligible. The anticipated traffic during the peak hour is only 6 trips, so 1 car every 10 minutes during the peak hour. Most of the trips are coming down from the Route 3 intersection, and they're coming off peak hours just how their shifts and treatment schedules work. And the conclusion of the memo was that the traffic is minimal and can be safely accommodated with the existing roadway network, and no offsite improvements are required. We do have a conditional use permit request as part of this application. It's actually in two parts. One, in the groundwater protection district, you're limited to 15% impervious coverage. We have a site plan that calls for 24.3%. We've minimized the impervious coverage as much as we can. We've met the minimum parking requirement. We really just go over the impervious coverage by a slight amount, but we have submitted a stormwater management plan that's a requirement of that request as part of the site plan set. And as I mentioned, we've also captured all the runoff from all the impervious surfaces, provided pre-treatment, detention, and treatment prior to discharge. And then the second conditional use permit request has to do with some wetland buffer impacts. There is a slight, I'll try to just make this a little bit more clear on the second color plan within your packet. The cyan color represents what it would be a permanent impact. So that would be a pavement area. And then the outer line is the purple line, which is a temporary impact, which is really just area that they're going to disturb to put in the retaining wall in that area, because we've tried to minimize the disturbance into the buffer by creating a retaining wall to limit the amount of slope transition that we need, but they need a little bit of area to actually install the wall. So the purple area is intended to be loam and seeded after construction and will remain a pervious area. It's just a temporary impact as part of the construction. So all in total, the cyan area for permanent impact is about 1,160 square feet, and then temporary impacts for the retaining wall construction and just a piece of the sewer line construction where we have to tie in is about 1,200 square feet of temporary impact. And we did present this before the Conservation Commission as well, and they had a positive recommendation for our request. Regarding site signage, there is a building mounted sign. Everything will comply with the town regulations for signage. So there's a building mounted sign in the building that's approximately 10 feet wide by 2 feet tall. So it's well under the allowable 10% of the building facade. And the monument sign, which sits right about here, sits on a 2-foot base, and it's approximately 10 feet wide by 4 feet tall. And there's no wetland impacts as part of this proposal. As I mentioned, we've presented all of this before the Town Conservation Commission. On January 18th, we did receive the approval from the Zoning Board of Adjustment for the special exception for the use and a variance for the drainage outlet pipe. And as Leanne mentioned, just before the meeting, we had received a copy of the town review engineer's memo. He first had sent an email saying it was a clean plan, but he wasn't sure if he would get comments ready for tonight, but he did. I got them this afternoon. I read through them. They're all minor in nature, basically some note revisions, a couple of detail edits. So there's nothing in there that really changes what I've presented to you tonight. We'll address everything that's in his memo to the satisfaction of him and planning staff. And lastly, I just wanted to show you the elevation of the building, which is intended to be a CMU block at the base with utility brick and mortar above that. And there are some metal accent features, and the canopy is made out of a metal material. He mentioned it to me. Excuse me one second. That's a metal or composite metal canopy. And that's at the main entrance location and one of the employee door locations. So in closing, we feel this is a good use for the property. It provides a needed service to the community and provides added jobs within the area. And I'd like to thank Leanne and town staff for their help to date through the process. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Do we have the conservation approval? This
Yes.
is just minute notes,
Yeah, no, they
It
didn't send me
doesn't
that. I
say
went digging
approved.
for that. They didn't send me anything.
but you're aware of they are approved, or
Well, I mean, just what this says here and that they, yeah, I didn't get
Yeah.
anything from them.
all the things they asked for, but it doesn't say that they're happy or whatever.
Yeah, this is all I have to know.
Like they put in bear-proof container, curbing, it needs to be underground filtration, what they did mention, granite or concrete curbing. The 100-year storm wasn't presented at the meeting, it looks like.
We didn't have that at the meeting. He
No,
asked us for a
but
copy
he
of the
said that
analysis.
They are doing that.
We already
I
did it.
Send it to them.
Yeah, we sent, so after that meeting, they asked when we submitted the planning that we send a copy of our analysis to them in DOT, which we did, and they both signed off on it. I can reach out to Chuck and see if I can get an email from him that just says he was all set. Because I don't think I ever received a formal approval other than
I didn't get
him
it.
telling me at the meeting I was all set and told me if
Yeah.
you need anything else. But we did address
could
every
make it a
comment that you
condition.
just read. We did call for the bear-proof lid on the dumpster. We have granite concrete curbing everywhere on the site. We did run the 100-year analysis. So we addressed every one of the comments that we had received from conservation.
I guess we can make it a condition of the approval that we.
That's what I was
approval
thinking,
from them.
yeah.
We do have an approval from fire. as well. I think that might have been in the packet. I think I
I
have that.
didn't see that, but,
We do have that as
Sorry.
well, yeah.
okay.
Can I get a copy of that at some point, Leanne? I
Fine,
don't-
you didn't get that? I thought I quoted that
I
to you.
spoke to him and I don't know if I had a copy of the formal letter at the end, but
I'm gonna give people an opportunity to read through, Steve's notes that Leanne just got today, our engineer. And
Is it this one?
yeah. It was- Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
Tom's already there.
Almost done.
it's just technical review.
Just a quick question while we get to read this. The red line is the front, is that?
this is
red
the
line
property line right here.
That's the buffer line?
That's the property line.
Oh, that's the property
Yes.
line. So from the property line to that parking, is that the right amount of,
Yes, yes, we meet all setbacks.
Setback.
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
so that's why you couldn't move that down a
Yeah,
little bit
we-
to get out of the wetlands is what I was, okay, so you have
Yeah.
the setback there, okay.
And there's quite a slope, existing slope from this edge of the road up to the site as well on that side.
It's a
So
very sloping lot, a lot
It
of
is.
you are familiar with it.
Okay, okay.
You're gonna have to do some blasting there, right?
yes, we had geotech work done and ledge probes, and there is some ledge. It varies all throughout the site from anywhere from 2 feet down to 10 feet down below existing grade. So we don't know if it's some large boulders in one location, but predominantly we think it's pretty ledgy.
Now, when you get a permit for this, you get a blasting permit, excuse me. You get a blasting permit from the state? Is that where you get it?
I would honestly have to check on that. We have blasting notes on the
You have-
plan, and in the plan set, we included blasting notes. That
Right,
they have to
so
do
I-
a pre-blast survey and
Yeah.
a post-blast
But,
survey.
There's local jurisdiction that has to be notified the day and time that you intend to do this.
I believe that's all done through the building department, but I would have to defer to Leanne. I think
Are
that's,
we in a pre-construction meeting usually?
Well, I mean, it would be necessary, would it be necessary for you to notify the fire department or anything in case of an emergency?
yes, we
exists?
certainly, yes.
Okay.
I would think there'd probably be a detail there at the time. You think?
Well,
I don't know,
I
not
don't
usually,
know.
but they
Okay.
usually
Yeah.
let them
I
know.
don't think we're really blasting anywhere close to the roadway, but yeah, I'm sure that they would be made aware.
That's close enough. The reason that I'm saying this, Chris, is several years ago, as a member of the police stations committee, we looked at this as a site for the police station.
I know.
And and to us, it wasn't a good fit, simply because of the site work involved.
Yep.
Public building, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Quite different.
And I can't recall how big that building was. This was definitely a challenging site, and the tenant and the owner have been made aware, hey, there's going to be earthwork required to make this work, but they really want to be here in Tilton, and it's a good location for them. And
I have several questions, but I'm going to wait till they've reviewed these before I ask them.
do you recall how big the police station was to be? I think it was like 12 or 13,000 square feet, wasn't it?
11,758 square.
It's almost twice the size of this building, plus you need all the parking for the cruisers. So that I think that once you start expanding that out, it just,
That was the problem, yeah.
they actually initially had plans to leave room for a future expansion, but it started pushing into the PSNH easement, and then so that's not part of this, but we were kind of constricted to what we could get on there.
Because you don't have issues with Steve's comments on
Nope.
drainage.
No, I ran through them all
changes
quick. Yeah, they're all, some of them seem lengthy, but they're really, hey, check this, make sure this matches the plan.
Right,
And
right,
so that was all,
Spelling and the proper way.
There's quite a lot in,
Detail in the drainage than there wasn't.
Yeah,
yes. And there, it's a pretty extensive plan set. I think we had 25 sheets showing all different things and information. So I expected some level of review comments.
Yeah.
I would have tried to address them all before tonight. I just didn't
I know, that's
receive them in
the same
time.
thing.
But I've worked with Steve a lot in the past 20 years, so I'm sure I can address all his comments to his and your satisfaction.
well, that'll be a part of the conditions for approval, too. Has anybody? Yes, sir. Are there any questions on Steve's comments? You're going to address some of these, okay?
Yes, I'll address
Why
all of
don't-
them.
Why don't you make your presentation and then we'll follow up with questions, okay?
I think he did make his presentation.
Hmm?
I think he did make his
Oh, okay, so
presentation.
you, all right.
Right,
then you
you're
can-
all set.
I just had one, you saw the one on the manhole for the 12, when transition from I think 6 to a 12-inch pipe.
Yes, that's,
So
I
that's-
think it's just a label on the plan. We just have to make sure it matches the drainage analysis. So we'll,
So there would be,
is it the 6-inch versus the 24-inch? Is that what you're talking
well, he said to install a manhole.
Oh, yes, that's what, yes, I'm not gonna need to install a manhole. I'm actually, the pipe outlet is a 6-inch, so it's just a 6-inch going into the first manhole. So
Okay.
I'll clarify that. with
Okay.
Steve, so.
So it is straight through.
All right, is there anything else you wanted to clarify?
No, again, I didn't have a lot of time to go through all the comments in detail. I glanced through them to just make sure there's nothing that, hey, your building's in the front setback or
Yeah.
that there's a major issue that is gonna affect the design. I just read through to make sure, yep, I
Okay.
can correct that, I can correct that, I can correct that. And so
All right.
we'll make all the necessary changes.
Tom,
Yeah,
you
and when he
said you had
sends us
a
the
motion.
final plan, Keach will sign off. The final plan meets his comments before we.
Yes.
I'd like to direct your attention to plans that were submitted. And this is, I don't know, a sheet S1, if you don't mind.
At the existing conditions plan.
Existing conditions plan.
Okay.
I only have C.
And there is a rectangular grid there, and I'm assuming that that's the sewer easement. And would you please clarify that, please?
This, that follows this line
Well,
right here.
it doesn't on the sheet. On this sheet, it doesn't show that. It shows a rectangular line, a gridded line.
Which,
on my sheet.
can I just make sure that I'm looking at the same thing?
Yep.
This line right here.
That's
Yes,
it.
that's the same thing
That
as
is
what I'm
the-
showing.
okay.
It is the same.
Okay, very
So
good.
that's the sewer easement that Nickerson granted to the
Oh,
town.
that's okay. I just wanted to clarify. And the next sheet, sheet C-02, these, this line that you have here says SS, that's a silt sock.
Correct.
And that goes all the way around over in here. This is just the site work.
Yes, it
Okay.
doesn't go all up here because this is higher.
Because
so
that's
it-
higher.
Yes,
Okay.
everything goes down to the
Okay,
bottom. We
good.
put it around the perimeter of everything that's lower.
Just need a clarification. What's confusing to me from the elevations that I've got is that where is the main entrance to this facility?
The front door or this, or
The
where you-
main entrance where the patients come in.
right here.
So in this sheet, see C-03, that would correspond to what your point with me?
Correct.
Okay, that's good.
And when you're looking at it on this plan, it's right
Right here,
here.
right here.
Yes.
Okay. Does this include a door for an ambulance?
Yes, this is all flush. This whole area is, there's no curb or anything. It's
So
just,
the door is wide enough to facilitate people in wheelchairs and.
Correct.
Okay.
there are a couple bollards here for protection of the
Well,
vehicle.
yeah, that wasn't what I was asking, but that's okay. I'm sorry that I can't read this because
Oh,
the print is too small.
Would you like a larger one?
No, it's just too cumbersome. On this facade that you have facing Business Park Drive,
Right here.
that's it. Now, now that is the south,
That would be the south elevation, which would be
at the south elevation?
this bottom one here on the right.
Okay. And that left facility, that's just glass, those aren't doors,
This right here.
those two.
These ones, I believe that.
No, right, Nick, those
Oh,
two,
these.
no, those two right there.
Right
Those are glass, not doors.
I believe so. Let me just check the architectural plans if you don't mind, just to make sure. That's just a color rendering that they gave me.
See, what's confusing to me is I don't know and what the information you give me, where was the front door, the entrance for the patients, and versus whatever that facade.
So when you're looking, this edge of the building right here.
Yeah.
This is if you're standing here looking at the building.
Okay,
here.
yeah.
So this piece right here, that's the canopy.
Okay, and it
So
goes
that's
around
where-
the corner.
And it just goes, the canopy's only in this location here. So this chunk right here is right there. So that's the main entrance right here.
Okay, and what's,
These are just windows on the side that are on
those are
this side.
side windows.
Those are just side windows.
Okay. Now, I'm going to, I have a few more questions. Going to direct your attention to C-03 again. And there's on the south facade of this, on the south part of the driveway, there is a 2 with a circle around it. And could you tell me what that's for?
That's just labeling the number of parking spaces in this area. So there's 2 here and
Oh, that's an
there's,
additional parking spaces?
there's 2 here, 2 parking spaces right
Okay.
here. And then there's 5, the 5 with, it just is noting that there's 5
The
spaces.
circle is the parking space.
Yes, that's just
Okay,
labeling how
thank
many
you.
spaces there
Thank
are.
you. That takes care of that. Okay. God, I can't read my,
You want my little magnifying?
yeah, please, if you don't mind.
The roof drains are included in the captured runoff.
Correct. They go through our stormwater system.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Thank you.
It doesn't light up, but it does light.
Did you say there were 30 parking spaces?
Yes, we have 30, 29 are required. We have one extra parking space.
All right, so. Could you please explain to me what your proposed temporary impact to the wetland buffer is?
Yes. Can I just come up there to make it a little clearer for you on this one?
Fine.
So this red line is the limit of the wetland buffer.
Yep,
This is the, just drawing this to make it a little bit easier. This is the edge of our pavement right there. Just to help get a loading zone in there and circulation around the building. So this is permanent impact. So
okay,
that will remain pavement in the future.
okay,
In order to limit how far we had to go back this way with grading and slope transition, we put in a retaining wall right at the edge of this, all the way down. So we have a retaining wall there.
okay,
They just need about 5 feet to be able to put the retaining wall in for construction. And then when they're done, this temporary impact area would become grass again. It's not, gonna-
oh,
so that's the temporary impact that will be
Okay.
restored after construction.
okay, good, okay. I'm seeing some things here that are kind of puzzling. What is the overall height of the structure?
It varies depending on where you're looking at the building, but predominantly it's about 18 feet to the top roof line. Some of the architectural features at the corner gets up to 23 feet.
Okay. Now, on sheet C05, this is just out of curiosity. You have soil legend per USDA web soil survey. I like the use of your naming of these different soils here. Searsport, Chocotula, Champlain loamy fine sand, and Metacomet fine sandy loam. And you know who Metacomet is?
I do not, I did not provide those names.
Okay. Just for your information, he was King Philip in the 1643 King Philip's War in Massachusetts. He was Massasoit's son. Just to let you know.
No, interesting.
Okay, so
Named dirt after him.
Yeah.
I'm related to him. I'm going to continue on here, I believe. Okay. Let's continue on to sheet C07. And what you have here is a, whoops. A sewer pump station, 8-inch inside diameter.
8 foot.
I'm sorry, 8 foot inside diameter. And then you have a 4 foot inside diameter valve manhole right beside that.
Yes.
And then you have a 2,500 gallon emergency overflow. Okay,
Yes.
now you're going to tie into the existing sewer line there.
Yes,
But that's it.
that's right about here. Where the sewer ends right now.
And you're going to have to pump that uphill.
We pump from the building to that manhole.
And that's
Yes.
uphill.
Yes.
Yes. Now, what safety devices do you have in place for this in case there is a failure of that pump?
So the first one is the emergency generator that's on site. That'll be connected to the
Okay.
pump station. There's duplex pumps in the pump station. So there's 2 pumps. If one fails, there's still the second pump. And there's alarms in the pump station as well.
Where do
And
those alarms go?
they go to a control panel inside the building.
Okay,
Don't believe that there's any notification of the fire department for that or not, but
I think she might get it.
Joanna definitely gets it.
Yeah.
Joanna
Joanna
gets a
gets the
copy of it.
alarms.
I don't think it goes to fire, it just goes to
I don't
Joanna
think-
in the
I think
building. I
Johanna
believe.
gets, because she gets the other alarms.
And
too.
she would be the one that would notify the fire.
Yes.
Mhm.
And the 2,500 gallon overflow tank, so Most of their sewer flow is a result of not people flushing the toilet, but their water from their dialysis treatment. They have a lot of reverse osmosis, zeolite backwash, a lot of treatment of the water that they have to do, and that's predominantly what their discharge is. So we know exactly how much they use in a worst case scenario. So what we did was we sized this tank just in the off case that when somebody's not there at night, when somebody leaves at 8 o'clock at night, and if all those systems went off all at once and none of the sewer was working, it would have enough storage so that it would store it on site until the next day when somebody was on site to hear the alarms going off. And so we've included all those calcs in the package that went to the Sewer Commission, as well as DES and the Franklin Wastewater Treatment Plant. So we feel we have more than adequate backup for the system.
Thank you for that.
This is the closest dialysis facility is in Laconia, right?
I believe so, but I am not 100% sure.
Yeah, there's one in Laconia that is run by an individual doctor. Our closest one is in Concord. We have
Okay.
a lot of
Well, I knew there was one because I've known a couple of people who've gone to the one that, like, it was at the hospital where it was located. Okay.
And now I want to draw your attention to sheet C-11, please. And I'm just curious because you have two sections of storm tech system number 2. One in the west side and the other one in the south side.
Yes.
And those are both will be covered over with bituminous concrete.
No, they've got a stone layer on top of the chambers, and then it's the pavement section above that. So your gravel.
So you're going to put pavement.
Yep. Yes.
That's bituminous concrete, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. In my mind, I was thinking a concrete layer above
No,
the chambers. Sorry, I
Yeah,
apologize.
so it's an asphalt.
Yes, it is
No,
asphalt.
So what does this do? Designed to do? Hold water?
It is designed to
And
hold
then
water.
gradually release the water?
Correct.
And where does it get its water from? The building itself or from all around?
From the building, and can I show you on a plan? Would that be helpful? Can I mark on these for you?
So we have some catch basins on the property, right here, 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 and here. The roof drain ties into that, the foundation drain. Sure, this one comes out for this structure, sorry, it's a little different sheet. Everything goes into this system here, comes out here,
Right.
that goes to there. From this
That's
system.
connected there
Yep, after it's treated.
after it's treated. What size is this?
I'm gonna double check
Because
the
of the
plan. I believe this
grass
is a
around
12-inch pipe.
Oh, okay, big.
And then this is a 12-inch also, so all the water comes in here like this, into there.
Building there.
And then this comes into here like this,
So if you
and
build
then
a
it comes
building,
out here,
then you
merges
rent
with
it
that,
out.
and then all goes here, which is where it goes now.
Right,
In our calc, so that we've reduced
Right.
peak rates for that.
Okay.
Right.
Because I didn't see any.
Sorry to mark up your plan.
No, Yeah. yeah. I was just wondering because there's no connection there and I wanted,
They show more in the utility
That
plan
is
because this is
there.
really just the management plan
That's
for
cool.
erosion control on that sheet. So if
Okay.
you look back to one of the other sheets, it shows
Yeah.
all the piping and the slopes and
let me just bear with me for a couple of minutes and see if I have any more questions. I don't think I do. What was confusing to me was the last sheet that doesn't have a number on it, just has the elevations.
yes.
And it was basically confusing to me which elevation, because I was reading the top down instead of the bottom up. It was like the east elevation is here.
Yep.
And then, so the west elevation is the main entrance, which is over here.
Correct.
Now I've got it. Thank God. It only took me that couple of hours to figure that out.
And the sewer profile is on the 3/8.
8, okay.
Okay, and then the other question, John?
How did you know? I always, so let's see, so I asked about the manhole, the roof drains capture in the captured runoff. The other thing is the lighting, does that go by the lighting height? Is that the?
15 feet.
15.
So
Yeah.
that covers that. I saw their
Careful, Larry,
downcast
person
lighting.
follow up as well. Is it going to be on timers? the lighting?
I believe,
That was my next question.
I'm sorry.
I'm getting
Yeah,
into.
it used to be
That was a question of mine too.
She
Yes.
cut you off.
does it go completely dark or is there a night setting that it just keeps minimal lighting on site?
Yeah, minimum light.
Okay. So they have a night setting that everything goes,
So it goes dim?
At what time, do you know?
they close by 9 PM.
Yeah. after-
So-
Okay, as soon as you leave, then it'll go to the dim?
Yes.
Okay.
So that was my question, because we have a lighting ordinance on lighting. And the other one is the rubbish collection from the dumpster. One of the things, especially being a little bit elevated there, the trash companies like to hit the dumpsters at the commercial properties at like 4 a.m. So what happens is I don't know if you've ever heard them empty a dumpster, that echoes through everywhere. So it's important that they abide by the noise ordinance, which is 6 a.m. until I think it's 10 p.m.
To point out, in this particular instance, the dumpster pad's not above grade, it's actually below the surrounding grade, because we're cutting into this slope a little bit, so if you picture that.
So I was thinking, but even going out that way, that noise.
We have a retaining wall, this is the highest point of the retaining wall around this
Yep.
corner, and it's about 7 feet tall. So the dumpster's surrounded by a retaining wall on these two sides, and then the rest were, I don't know,
So then
100
if it goes down
150 feet
across
away
the-
from the roadway.
I can say that I live 300-400 feet away from a dumpster that when and it's elevated, so everybody can hear it in the neighborhood. If at like 4 o'clock in the morning, they'll
Oh, yeah.
tilt it out. And when they
It
empty
bangs,
it,
yeah.
they bang them so they can empty them. So that's real important, is that you're aware that there are noise ordinances, and the trash company will probably try and do that.
Did you say it's 6 AM? Is that the ordinance?
6 a.m. to 10 p.m. except Saturdays till, I think, midnight.
I can add a note to the site plan, says no trash pickup prior to 6 AM if you'd like.
Yeah.
Again, there's no residential there though, which is good.
Yeah, but like I was saying, that noise really carries.
Well, I wasn't arguing that it doesn't. I just wanted to point out that in this situation, it's not like I'm sitting a dumpster on top of the grade and I've just got open surrounding
Yeah.
area. We're tucked into the corner there, so.
You are aware that we have a problem in this area with bears.
Yes, and that was the comment from the Conservation Commission. They asked for the bear-proof lid and we've specified that on the plans. There's a note on the plan near the
That
dumpster
is
pad.
where your easement is, that is a wildlife corridor. So,
The note, you can, if you want to see it, it's on sheet C03 in the upper left-hand corner, points to the dumpster and notes the bear-proof lid.
That was it, Jane.
Christine?
I'm good.
Okay, I'm good. So there are no more questions? Are there any questions that are open to the public? Any questions from the public?
We all look at Eric.
Eric, any questions?
Comment that Jim brought up about trash, but I'm just looking at a map and you're several hundred feet through trees, and the difference between what Mr. Scanlon is referring to and this is trees. You have a sound buffer that's going to be absorbed, where the area that he's referring to is fairly wide open with minimal trees. You're on Business Park Drive. So,
I think the residential area is a lot further away too.
It's not terribly far.
Isn't it?
no.
That's the drive that's close?
I have the aerial plan here. This isn't necessarily the scale, but
Otherwise, it's
oof, it cuts off.
Okay.
Nobody wants to fly with a crow.
well, it's probably illegal.
No.
Again, this is our site right here.
They go up and down.
And back on, I can bring it closer if you want to see. I know the residential street is somewhere, I think, right about
Oh,
up here. When you look at the aerial, and this is our property here. That's the PSNH easement running through right there.
Yeah.
know the area well.
I know, my house.
I mean,
They're all, he was on the
So there are
police.
trees there.
Yeah, that'll
This
help.
building.
But regardless, we do a noise ordinance that
Oh, yeah.
protects.
Yeah.
All right, we had comment from the public, right? I'm going to close it to the public now, come back to the planning board. Anything before we turn to the conditional use permit? We have two of those. We have,
We have two.
mhm.
Disturbance of the wetland.
The first one is
15%.
Well,
the
not just the buffer impact.
The
not-
wetland
no wetland
buffer.
impervious.
impact,
And 15% impervious, greater than 15%.
and we have one, which is the wetland buffer. And the other is the
15%.
15% of,
Over
Impervious,
the
yeah.
impervious, yeah.
so I'll entertain a motion. Let's take them one at a time. Does anybody have any questions about either one? I think we've covered them pretty extensively.
My only thing was we didn't have actually, confirmation from the Conservation Commission regarding that.
And that's gonna be a condition.
Oh.
Okay. These are just conditional use permits
Okay.
that we
um,
have to do.
Make a motion to accept the conditional use permit for the impact of estimated 2392 square feet of wetland buffer.
I'll second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so that's condition one. Conditional use one, and I'll make a motion to accept conditional use two, which is to permit construction. Let's see,
Something about the,
To allow
to
for,
allow for construction which
Greater
will
than-
render in excess of 15% of parcel and in excess of 2,500 square feet of land area impervious surface.
can we say what percent?
20, yeah, 24.3.
And 24.3 is what
I
we,
have 22.9
Where
here.
15 is required. Why don't we word it that way, Jane?
Yeah, fine.
Wait a minute, what is it?
we are 24.3%.
Oh,
Impervious where 15 is.
this said 22.9.
24.
Oh.
That was
How
when we
that
presented to
changed.
Conservation Commission, but we let them know there might be some minor tweaks with the plan by the time we got to planning board. So there was some slight adjustments that we had to make to the plans. So
Make it to no more than
24
25%.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
24.3% instead of 15% of parcel area in excess. What?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay. So all in favor?
Oh, you
Aye.
have to have a second first.
Oh, it's the second. You second? All right. All in discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, for the second two conditional uses. So I'll make a motion to accept the,
To approve.
Hmm?
To approve.
to approve the site plan with the following conditions. Compliance with all local and state requirements. Approval from the water department. They're planning a meeting, you said with them, right?
yes,
Anything else?
All concerns indicated
On the Keats report, right? Yeah.
shall be addressed on the final plan.
An acceptance from the Conservation Commission?
Okay, that was my other one.
And a performance guarantee will be required.
Okay, any others?
Any others?
To monitor the erosion. in the site.
Performance.
Anything else?
I think you got
Is there a
mine.
second?
Second.
All right, any more discussion? No?
Do you want to do it by acceptance of the Conservation Commission or following the guidelines? So I think you don't really accept anything.
Right, it's just
So-
advisory.
Yeah, so it would be follow
Following the
their
guidelines as
suggestions.
opposed to, okay, so.
which we
follow-
have already, I think so.
Yeah, follow the guidelines, okay.
I had coordinated with Chuck, honestly, so I'm
Yeah.
sure I can get
Well,
an email or
I'm
something
on the
from him.
Conservation
Oh, okay.
Commission too, so I can say that, these things are incorporated in there.
And that may be
I can see
why
that.
he didn't send anything
Yeah.
to me, because they didn't have any objections.
Mhm.
And they
I'm
had,
just
and we have
assuming,
John.
usually if they have an issue, they They sent
Oh,
something.
okay.
separately.
And that's, there, everything we discussed is right there in the
Yeah.
minutes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank
Thank you for your time. Have a good night.
you. You too.
So when do you start?
We still have to get our state sewer permit and get through the water department, which is going to take a little while longer, but I think they intend to start this summer. So pending, they still have to go through the land transfer and all that good stuff. But that's their intent, is to start building this year. So
It seems well
Good.
planned, and I know it's
Good for
very
you.
needed.
Thank you.
Yes, yes,
gonna be
it
great.
is, yeah.
Good to see. Hmm.
Or
Yeah.
to, there used to be a bus that took them to Lake Region, and that bus no longer operates, so.
No, it's transportation. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them keep asking for this. Good news for a lot of people. Thank
Good,
you.
good.
We're glad to
Thank
have
you.
you here. That's great.
Let's start a bus company, you and I, Jen.
Don't we have to have the newbie come up and speak now?
We should have fielded the questions with him.
I couldn't help myself.
I will say, I think his name is signed on one of
Oh, he
these
signed on one of
documents.
these?
Didn't you?
Five straight days.
I
He's
think
just the brains.
he is,
He's
he's the
just
brains
mouthpiece.
behind it. I just present it, you know. So.
I'm the overflow driver. Okay,
That's excellent.
I think it's gonna be a little
Yeah.
different.
Yes, you see the checklist was signed by Jason Cook.
Yeah.
So if anything was wrong, it'd be his fault.
All these plans, I-
That's right. I'll stick with that.
I had to do that.
Push to the front.
All right, we have a,
What's this notice of lot?
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Chris,
Follow up with Steve and get
very
back.
well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
So I can talk with Stephen all over.
Have a good night. I'll keep you
You're
posted
welcome.
with water and sewer and
Yeah.
get going on Steve's comments. Do you have a standard form you want for the performance guarantee, or do I just give you an estimate for? Or I can talk to them later about it. This was going to require a SWIP, so they're going to have to do a full stormwater binder and have weekly inspections anyway as part of the EPA permit. So
There's nobody here.
you can let me know. We can give you copies of those inspection reports too when they're done.
Yeah.
So whatever works for you.
Okay.
You need any of these? I'm
I
pretty
don't.
much
You
done
can-
with it.
you can
I
have
didn't know if you, you know, if you can use them. again.
Recycle,
Hmm?
recycle.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably.
All right, the next thing we have on the agenda is a simple lot line adjustment.
Lot merger.
Lot line, what did I say, lot
And
line
this came in
adjustment?
after I sent the tax out, but it's just a straightforward lot merger. And I actually printed out the map for you and attached it so you can just see where it is. Not that
Oh,
it's
yeah.
35 and 36 that are being merged,
And you confirm that same owner owns both? Thank you.
and it will be known as 35. So if we can do that at this meeting, then we can get it to the registry and have it merged before April 1st. So it will go on this year's tax. Otherwise, it rolls over a whole year.
Is that where the old church was out there?
It's a residential property.
I know, but I think it used to be an old church, well, and there's a barn behind it, and it's the family,
There is a barn, yeah.
yeah. It burned several years ago. It was my first visit to a fire in Tilton was there.
Okay. Hmm.
The total acres will be
Yeah,
what?
that's it.
I got, you know what the total acres will be after they merge?
I can find out.
They look like two good sized lots.
That's good size. They're both
36 and 35. Okay. Oh. Does one of those have an abandoned house on it?
There
It's a barn.
are,
I think it's a barn.
yeah, I think it's a barn.
There was a fire in the barn, so the inside of the barn was gutted by the fire.
No.
You know where it is?
I know exactly where it is,
Yeah.
but I thought there was an abandoned house there. One of the two. That's okay. I'm just.
Thought the old woman lived in the house.
50 acres?
Do you want me to
No.
have the acreage? Is that-
Church Street.
Church. I can, I mean, if you need to know the acreage, I can look it up.
Well, we don't need to
Just
know.
curious, yeah.
I make a motion to accept this.
Second,
Any comments or questions or anything? All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? So
I
be it.
just need you to sign that before you leave, Jim.
Okay.
That's one, so I can get it to the film registry. And then,
Um,
and then the ethics policy,
yeah, there's
if you
a
can just initial here that I give, when I give you one.
the revision of our ethics policy for the town. Sometime back, we all got a copy of the other ethics policy, but for whatever reason, this has to be changed again.
Lean, did you get all my signed papers?
Yeah, Gail has them, yeah.
Okay. And then Tim has the W-9, I think, or
She
something
can
like that.
pass this and
Yeah.
this to Christine, she can initial and keep her copy. And then I have Fred's here.
So we have 4
He
more
just initially
members.
maybe
Just
received a
initial
copy
it
of
and
it.
take it home and read it. That's what I did. That's what I'm doing. That's what she did.
You don't have to read it, just that you got it, same.
We have 4
That's great,
members.
thank you. That's
Four
done.
And wasn't there something else besides the ethics? Wasn't that?
There's two things there. There's the ethics, it's the standard of conduct.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
conduct,
procedure,
yes.
Meeting procedure,
Yeah,
Yeah,
standard of conduct, and then there's an ethics policy. So it's
Okay.
two parts.
and
And then the
the
minutes.
last thing we have are the minutes.
I put in my pile.
Boy, it has been a long time.
You know, we didn't meet in February.
I know.
Right at the beginning of
I think
March.
it's gonna be a busy year.
Oh,
And March is
Wait
because you
another
had a town
month.
meeting last.
Yeah. That, and thank goodness that was taught this year. In the past, it hasn't been.
oh, this one page. Keep going. I was at the bottom. Oh, we're here.
Do you know of anything coming down the
other
pipe?
thing.
You know, only
Okay.
possibly the Anchorage, but I don't know any.
I was gonna say, I was gonna ask about that.
But that'll be a little one.
They started
The
doing
other
this
thing,
yet?
we have not
Those
had
electric things?
anybody from first student come.
Right. You want to submit it to second? I'll send him another.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So done.
If I could just ask one other question. There's a chiropractic office on Grange.
Yeah.
2 Grange, I believe is the address. Right
Yeah.
on the corner there, there's a chiropractic office.
Yeah.
And they are not, part of their parking lot is paved and part of it is dirt. And they would like to pave their whole parking lot. If you know what's.
A parking lot and not a driveway.
No, it's parking, it's right next to the senior center. I'm well aware of it.
Oh, okay.
You kind of know where I'm talking about.
It's next to
Which
the
part
senior
isn't
center.
paved?
I'm sorry?
Which part isn't paved?
It's odd. There's like a section paved here and then dirt, and then another section here is paved and there's dirt.
It's the very end towards Route 3.
So they,
Oh,
yeah, exactly. They're closer to Route 3. So they contacted the chiropractic, the doctor there contacted a paving company. And the paving company came out and said they could pave it, and then there was a culvert there and that would catch the water. So I did ask Kevin Duval to go out and take a look at it and let me know what he thought, and he said it was fine. That the people had to catch it was fine. Is that something you want to see in a site plan to change that paving, or?
One of the big things with that is all of that drains down towards where the, I forget what you call that shop up there, you know, where it all goes downhill and then there's just one,
The head shop there.
the head shop.
The headlines.
I knew you'd know that.
Well, we're going to go after.
Yeah. we'll go with that. I couldn't remember. So underneath, one of the big problems is underneath the road there, it's a very small culvert. So there could be, increasing that impervious surface
Right,
on
that's-
there is going to be, it's already having problems because of the drainage up there. So,
Eric's raising his hand.
how is the water going to flow?
You may have been on the board at the same time, Jane, but I believe there was a reason why that was left unpaved.
I think
I would
you're right.
suggest strongly,
From John Bernard, but I can't remember why.
I would suggest looking back in the minutes to see if
Yeah.
it's mentioned or as a site plan approval, there was a reason why that was left. And it may be because of that drain.
Because it is
Okay.
odd the way it's
Yeah, it's
done.
John,
That's why I
it's
am not told, I had Kevin look at it, but we haven't given any go-aheads on anything yet. so.
it's a case with John Bernard.
Right.
And it was Awakening Chiropractic then too, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
That's
the
maybe
reason
what-
why that little piece, if you look at the building
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Range Road to the right, was not paved. It was part of the conditions, and I don't know if it's the storm drain, because it may overflow that pipe as you go further down,
Okay,
and it may cause.
All right, I'll do some research
I can't
on
talk to it, washout.
Or it could have to do with that little roadway he put through from his other property.
Yeah, but I thought he put a bigger pipe over it.
I thought he did with all the drainage. I didn't think it was an issue, but I wouldn't swear to that.
Some kind of right away for that.
I would,
To get
yeah,
to
I would
the-
just suggest looking at the minutes
Okay.
when that site was approved. See, there was a reason why.
You could be on call.
all right, I'll see if I can dig that out. All right, thanks, that was good. Good advice. All right, thank you.
New business or other? Oh, I had one, was, we're going to be looking at, or the Conservation Commission, over the years, at Salmon Run, there's one part that was conservation, and the other part was mitigation for the pollution and all that. And over the years, but the arsenic level has stayed right in the same levels, not gone down, but stayed right there. So one of the ideas is to do our original plan and then do a lot merger with both of those with the restrictions so that it would never be built on, which would allow them to stop doing the testing of the wells. So they haven't changed, and it costs us a lot to do that. And then the conservation restrictions would stay on both, as well as the restrictions for that would carry over to the other Salmon Run, which includes, I think, for a bridge, if they want to put a bridge in to go across for the trail and trail access. So, yeah, that was discussed at the Conservation Commission last night. So we can finalize that whole project.
Okay, good. All right.
When a person heads east on Main Street, before you get to the Salmon Run, there's an eyesore on the right-hand side, a bunch of brush, a piece of an old foundation. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it would be where the parking lot is.
Oh, okay.
And joining the whole
Where
piece
the wine
together
bottles
as
are.
one.
Okay.
Because when they were doing the cleanup, they kept that separate.
Yeah.
And then once it was done and they were satisfactory, they were joining.
Aesthetically, it's really doesn't look that great.
I'm trying to.
But there's an old
Across
stone
from it.
wall that's there that causes a backwater. It's just as you go around the corner and you're approaching the Salmon Run on the right-hand side. Now, I didn't think that was in the jurisdiction of the Salmon Run project. I thought that was more like.
It's not. Is it the one high on the bank or down in the water?
It's up high. It goes all, I think that's where the old sawmill was.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
and I was just thinking, if down the road a ways, where we're going to hopefully rebuild the island, and that would make, if we could do something to make that a little bit less, in my view, ugly. It would make it much more attractive and make it inviting for people to come along if they want to sit on the bank there and they could watch a concert over in the island. They wouldn't have to be on the island itself. That's just my thought.
I'll have to look at that.
I spoke to Kathy a long time ago about it, and she said, we can only go so far to the edge of the river with our cleanups because of the wetlands protection, the water protection. So we'd have to get a special permit to go in there, you know, those trees that are about, I would say 3 or 4 inches across that are growing up and filling in place. And so, I mean, you can get the permits, but it would take, you know, a lot. State would have to come in and, you know, wave the magic wand on everything, you know.
Yeah, there's the project of rebuilding that whole bank that could be.
Well, I realize that,
On
but
that.
the
Maybe
state.
we could figure it.
yeah, I realized that was in the works. You mentioned that to me before.
And we
But I
have
would
the
just-
weather asking for.
You know, I was just wondering if we could just do that little bit right there. It would help immensely, you know, to bring, you know, something back for the people of the town. Just my thought. Thank you.
All right, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor? Aye.
All right.
aye.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
No.
So I saw some little